We've all been there, guys. Conferences or local pastoral gatherings where the men of the cloth schmooze before and after sessions with the subconscious agenda of defining where everybody ranks on the totem pole of success. Now lower your eyebrows. You know it's true. What is it with us preachers? Why do we seem driven to know this stuff? Notice how I kind of went to the third person when raising this convicting question. I believe the answer lies in two insidious misapprehensions that result in devastatingly debilitating and common pastoral sin. Those two misapprehensions are simply, God is not our PR agent as pastors, and we shouldn't treat him like one. The first misapprehension of pastors driven by nickels and noses is their misunderstanding that success in ministry is somehow defined by numbers and money. Obviously, it's not, but we're tempted to see it that way because nickels and noses are so much more conveniently measurable than such true spiritual growth as in our congregations as God would really care about. It's a lot easier for us to count warm bodies in the seats on Sunday than to measure how spiritual our community is becoming. So by all means, let's count, right? Now, I'm not averse to counting, nor do I think a church growing in numbers or in finances is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. What I'm challenging is the idea that big equals success. It may, or it may not. We've all seen churches pull tricks out of the gimmicks box and triple their attendance. So what? That may look good, but it may smell bad to God. And we all know that on the other hand, we've all seen faithful pastors here and on foreign soil laboring for the kingdom only to be rewarded with dwindling congregations. That may look bad, but it's a sweet savor in the halls of heaven. Those things are all fine. But can we all go back for a moment in our mind's eye to those halcyon days of our youth, when we saw success in terms of faithfulness and not necessarily results? When teaching truth and ministering to the struggling and loving God and others well and finishing strong, those were our goals. Can we go back to when we were willing to just serve and leave the size and scope of our career to God? No less a lightweight than J.I. Packer writes these words, "Faithfulness, godliness, and loving service are the divine measures of real success in ministry." At the beginning of the megachurch age some years ago, who can forget Mother Teresa's startling pronouncement, "I do not pray for success, I ask for faithfulness." To her, faithfulness equaled success. She also famously said, "We can do no great things, only small things with great love." Notice the emphasis here on how and why ministers do what they do, not on the results of what ministers do. When our focus is on faithfulness and not results, we honor God. But whenever our focus shifts from faithfulness to results, it's a short hop and a skip to appropriating God as our PR agent. It goes something like this. I am God's servant, and He wants me to look good. Results make me look good and give me something to talk about with other pastors at conferences. Therefore, God will give me good results because God is great, and He's my PR agent. That's the unwritten success contract that we strike with God. Lord, I'll serve you faithfully. I'll preach passionately. I'll lead wisely. I'll pray consistently. And in return, we both know, wink, wink, that even though you never promised I'd have an outwardly growing and impressive church, I will. Because I owe you certain things in my role as pastor, and I promise to fulfill them. I'm confident, God, that you're aware that in return you owe me certain things in your role as God. Thanks, Father, for this beautiful relationship. I can't wait to move ahead with you as my PR agent. The logical negative progression in the life of a pastor of these two misapprehensions, that success can be counted and that God is my PR agent, is insidious. It can lead not only to his discouragement and even exit from the ministry, but even to questioning the very existence of the God he once served. And all of this because the pastor in question replaced worshiping God with working for God in the church. And when that fizzled, so did his faith in God. We have a word for replacing God with anything else. The word is idolatry. Idolatry, paradoxically enough, is a besetting pastoral sin, which inevitably leads to severe theological disillusionment. After all, if my God has become my ministry, and my ministry is doing a swirly down the toilet, then maybe I can just do without God altogether. I've known some former clergy over the years who have become so disillusioned with the false god of ministry success that they ditched the ministry and they now live as virtual theological atheists. I understand. I'm prone to such idolatry every day of my life, and especially when I go to pastors' conferences. And so I would just say to you, my friends, avoid believing the lie that God is your PR agent. He's not. And the ministry is not your God. And success is not your right. We're called as pastors to lead and to minister faithfully and to leave the results with God. I know that I have to de-idolatrize my heart, if that's a word, often. I hope that you'll join me. Thanks.